Welcome to the Collide Kids podcast, hosted by Christen Clark. This is a show for kids and families. You are going to meet new people and have fun while you listen. Let's do it!
Hey, y'all. Welcome back to the Collide Kids podcast. I'm your host, Christen Clark. The Collide Kids podcast is a show for kids and families where we learn together how life and faith collide. Wow, it has been such a busy week between all the activities and sports and fall festivals and trunk or treats and pumpkin spice everything. I know life can feel full right now, but it's so much fun to see all these families getting together and making memories. That's truly my favorite part of fall. Hey, speaking of being busy, if you are a busy parent who could use a little encouragement this week or just a reminder that you're not alone, God has got you, I would love for you to check out my other podcast, 7-Minute Devotions for Busy Parents. It's short, uplifting, and a great way for you to refocus on God during your day. So if you haven't listened to that yet, go check that out. It's available wherever you get your podcasts. Before we jump into today's episode, I want to tell you really quick about something exciting. I am hosting an online training called Podcasting with Purpose. So if you've ever thought about starting a podcast for your business or your ministry, or maybe your family, or you want to share your message with the world, this is your chance to learn how to get started and how to make an impact. You can find more information about that in the show notes, or if you follow me on social media. Okay, since we're in the fall spirit and a lot of candy is going to be floating around your houses this week, I want to play a quick round of this or that candy edition. I was thinking back to this. I'm pretty sure every time we get around the end of October, I do something like this on the episode. So if you want to go back and listen to past episodes, you can play this or that over and over again. But I just think it's so fun. And I want to know what kind of candy you like, because that's important. So this or that. So here are the very complicated rules of this or that. You have to raise your left hand if you like the first option, or your right hand if you like the second option. Okay? So I'll give you two choices. You have to raise your hand. Left hand if you like the first option, right hand if you like the second option. Here we go. Number 1, do you prefer chocolate bars or gummy candy? Chocolate bars or gummy candy? Which one? Okay, here's the second one. Candy corn or caramel apple? Ooh, that's a tough one. Here's the next one. Reese's peanut butter cups or M&Ms? Both are good choices, but you got to pick one. All right, how about these two? These are tied, I think, in my book, so this is going to be hard to choose. Twix bars or Kit Kat bars? Oh, I like both of those. Which will I choose? All right, here's the last one. Skittles or Sour Patch Kids? See, not everybody likes chocolate, but you have to choose. Which is better, Skittles or Sour Patch Kids? I don't know about you, but I think I just got a sugar rush from thinking about all that candy. Well, now I am so excited to tell you about today's guest. I get to chat with Jess Wolstenholm. She is the Vice President of Education and Research for Minno, the amazing Christian media company that helps kids and families experience Jesus every day through world-class content. Jess has such a heart for helping families grow in their faith and really understand God's Word together. She's also the editor of the Minno Laugh and Grow Bible for Kids and the executive producer of the animated series that goes with it. After 25 years in children's ministry leadership, Jess is using her passion and experience to develop content that provides age-appropriate spiritual and educational growth for kids and families. I am such a huge fan of Minno, and this was such a great conversation learning about all the amazing things they have to offer families and all the new and exciting things coming up. So here is my conversation with Jess Wolstenholm from Minno. Well, Jess Wolstenholm, thank you so much for being on the Collide Kids podcast today.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, this is so fun. I'm excited to talk with you, especially about the ministry you represent and the resources you're going to share with us today. I think families listening are going to be really excited. Would you just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do?
I'm Jess Wolstenholm, and I am the Vice President of Education and Research at Minno. And Minno is a children's media company that we exist to help kids and families experience Jesus every day. On and off the screen, we are primarily a streaming video platform for Christian kids and families. But we have other books and resources, and we just really want to help kids and families experience Jesus together through the media that they consume, because we know kids are consuming lots of media, and parents, it's a struggle because you want it to matter. You want it to be good media. And so we're working behind the scenes to kind of help make that easier for parents. We also work a lot with kids ministry leaders because they love the Minno shows and resources that they could use in their teaching. And my role is that I get to review all of our content for theology and education, and just making sure that it's age appropriate, theologically accurate, and just the best way to introduce God and the Bible to kids. So it's such a privilege. I've worked in kids ministry for 25 years and then in the entertainment industry. So the Lord kind of brought all of my experience together in this role. It's such an amazing privilege to do what I do.
Well, this is awesome. I'm excited to talk with you today. I love Minno, and I think it's such a great resource. So I know our families are going to love hearing about this today. But before we get into that, because this is a show for kids, I always make my guests tell me a joke or something funny. So what have you got for us today?
All right. I've got one because it's October and it is fall. The joke is, why did the Scarecrow win an award?
Oh, I don't know.
Because he was outstanding in his field.
He was outstanding in his field. That's a good one. I like that. Good old scarecrows. I feel like when I was in school, we did a lot of scarecrow stuff, and I don't know that kids still do.
It's not, I don't know. They're not as big anymore, right?
Yeah, or they're really creepy. Like they're not the cute ones that we had. Okay, let's talk a little bit first about how you came into your role, because I think that's really interesting. You did children's ministry for a long time, which I love children's ministry leaders. I was one. I work with them, so I love hearing these stories of how they got into that. But then you left ministry just to be a part of the Minno organization, or was this something you did kind of simultaneously?
Somewhat simultaneously. So I think I mentioned I worked in the entertainment industry. So I went to college in Nashville and worked in Christian music, worked in Christian publishing, and simultaneously I was working in kids ministry. And I was always a volunteer. My husband and I, too, since we were married, always volunteered for kids ministry. And then I became a kids director at a church for a little while. Then this opportunity came along for me to just kind of bring all of that together. It really started when my kids were young and, we were discipling them. And at the same time, I was hearing all of these reports and this research about how kids were leaving the church, right? When they get to college, they're just choosing to walk away. And for a while, as a young mom, I was really concerned about that. How do I make this story different for my kids?
Right.
And my husband and I really looked at each other and said, hey, all these people are leaving the faith. Why aren't we? I mean, we experienced a lot of loss. We lost 4 babies and 2 moms, and both of our moms in the span of 5 years.
Wow.
We dealt with church trauma. All the reasons people walk away, we had experienced these things, and we thought, well, why aren't we choosing to walk away? It was never even an option. And we prayed a lot and really, considered that a lot and determined it was just kind of the authenticity that our parents discipled us with. My parents came to faith. They grew up Catholic, good Catholic Italians. And then when they were dating, they got saved and they became Protestant Christians. And they kind of discipled us. It was messy because they were just learning themselves how to, be born again. It was also the intentionality. Church was always a priority for our families. Serving together was always a priority for our families. And so we started to institute those things in our own lives with our kids. And simultaneously, I was doing some writing and, writing some kids ministry curriculum and things like that. And so it just kind of grew from there, this passion in me for discipleship to be done differently for kids, for it to be very authentic and not necessarily the way it's always been done. We don't want to water down the truth. We don't want to change the truth of the Word of God, but we can adjust how we deliver it because we know so much more than we ever have about just psychology and even neuroscience and the way that all plays into how kids develop long-term spiritual formation. I'm just so passionate about it. I just really want kids to grow up and have a really healthy relationship with Jesus so that it lasts for the long haul.
That's amazing. I agree. And I think, like you said, there's no need to water down the truth. The truth is it stands on its own and it's great. And you can deliver it very dry and very, I'll say, unfun. And it still cuts through and it still reaches people. So if we can find ways that connect with people and families and kids and give them this truth in a way that they can take it, I think that's so amazing. How did you get connected with Minno? Have you all helped start it or was this something that was going on and you're like, oh, I want to be a part of that?
Yeah, well, some of the leadership of Minno I've worked with for over 20 years, and they're former Christian music industry folks, and they kind of started to develop this passion around the same time. And so I was working with them in music and then in publishing, and then we had the opportunity to work with Phil Vischer, creator of VeggieTales.
Oh, yeah.
I was actually working on Phil's books at the time and just kind of got in there with Minno and did a lot of, when I was home with my kids, I kind of paused my career when my kids were little, but I still did a lot of writing with them, just freelance writing, blog writing, devotional writing, things like that, and just really wanted to stay connected to what they were doing because I loved their vision. And once my kids were old enough, there was an opportunity for me to join them. And I took it because it was my dream job.
We'll be right back after this. You know, raising kids in the digital age isn't easy, but Bark Technology makes products that help parents keep their kids safe online and in real life. They have an app, a phone, and a home device that lets families set parental controls on their internet-connected devices. I love the app because it helps us manage screen time and blocks websites and apps we want our kids to avoid. It also sends alerts and gives us the ability to monitor texts and social media and even track your child's location. Visit bark.us to learn more about how you can keep your kids safe online. Use the code COLLIDEKIDS to get 15% off your subscription of the Bark app.
Let's talk about Minno, because for listeners that don't know what this is, now I remember Jelly Telly. I watched a lot of that.
Yeah.
And when I was in kids ministry, I would use that. They are great resources and lots of fun videos, even just for transitions or helping explain something a little bit differently. So I love using it as a ministry leader, but as a parent, I don't know that I ever tapped into that when my kids were younger. So I'd love to hear a little bit about what Minno is and how you guys are putting all of this together.
Yeah, so our main product is a streaming video platform, so Netflix for Christian kids and families. And when we first started, we basically gathered and licensed all of the shows that were out there. So VeggieTales, Bible Man, if you've heard of that. There's some older shows for kids that have been around since the 90s and the early 2000s. We gathered it all together. We curated kind of the best in Christian media for kids, and it was great, but we realized there's only so much out there. And so we started about 4 or 5 years ago developing our own original content. So now Minno has shows that we're putting out. Our award-winning Laugh and Grow Bible for Kids. We released that Bible with Phil Vischer back in 2019. It became a bestseller. And now we're in the process of animating every one of those stories so that kids have the video and the Bible, the storybook Bible, to kind of read and watch.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, it really helps to solidify the learning. Kids love that. They're like, wait, that's my Bible that they're seeing on screen. Kids ministry leaders love it for teaching Bible stories. We don't have a curriculum yet, but it's on our roadmap. So shows like that. And then the Young David Show, I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Yes. Okay, good.
I mean, speaking of raising the bar, which is our goal for Christian Kids Media, that was created with a studio out of South Africa with a lot of former Disney, Pixar executives that are believers and just really wanted to put their talents to use for the kingdom. And so that is probably the most beautiful Christian kids content you've ever seen. Disney Pixar level quality.
Wow.
And it's been so well received, and kids are just falling in love with, being able to see young David basically imagines what his life would have been like as he was developing those character traits that made him God's chosen king for Israel. So that's another exciting one. We have a couple of brand new shows coming out. We're so focused on making sure that kids have all of the same really excellent, educationally appropriate, age appropriate shows that you would see on a PBS Kids or a Sesame, but through a faith lens.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have a brand new show coming out in October called Guillermo and Will, and it is a dual language preschool show with two little puppet worms. Guillermo speaks Spanish and Will speaks English, and they're the best friends. And it really models this cross-cultural relationship. And then kids are going to learn in every episode 3 to 4 words in English and Spanish so they can understand both languages. And so that's the main part of Minno. We also have a publishing arm. So all of our original shows, we are developing books to go along with them because, again, we recognize the tension of screen time, and we want kids to have on-screen and off-screen experiences. And so we don't want it all to be focused around the screen. So we love books, and I head up our publishing as well. So that's really fun.
That's amazing. And I love that you've thought of everything. Like, because parents do struggle with that. Like, even if it's Christian content, I don't want my kids consuming so much screen time.
Yes.
So having those books and resources really helps families so much with managing that, but also keeping their kids interested, which is great.
Yeah.
What's the age range for people who watch Minno?
It's primarily preschool, early elementary. So we say like our sweet spot is 2 to 8.
Okay.
We do have a lot of members that are in the upper like to 10 elementary age, but the sweet spot is really 2 to 8, that early childhood education age where they're just sponges and they just like a lot of just fun and learning that's wrapped in fun, which is what we want to offer.
There's a lot of stuff for preschool and then a lot of stuff for that older elementary age. So finding stuff that your middle kids can enjoy and they're entertained by it and interested in it, that's so big. So that's great that you guys have that. I love that you guys have a dual language show coming up. Is that the only one you have right now? Or are there other Spanish or other languages you have represented in Minno?
We do have other languages. This is our only dual language show, so that's explicitly like teaching language.
Okay.
But we have our Laugh and Grow Bible for Kids in Spanish and Portuguese.
Okay.
And American Sign Language. It is the first Bible show for kids in American Sign Language. So
wow,
we're super excited to be able to offer the Bible to kids everywhere and to all kids. And so it's been really, really well received because there's such a need in that community. And we hope to do more. We've started with 25 episodes in American Sign Language, and we hope to do more next year. So we'll continue to roll those out. And then we have several other shows in Spanish and maybe a few in Portuguese. We're working on other languages. We want Minno to be a global ministry, and we have viewers all over the world if they are English speaking. But we want to go beyond that.
That's incredible. Global domination for
right.
Jesus.
Yes.
I love that. That's so good. Are there any new shows coming out? Are there any new things that are upcoming that we can get excited about?
Yes. One of the most exciting things, besides Guillermo and Will, which also released this month, is you will find beginning October 31st, so very, very soon this week, The Chosen Adventures.
Ooh.
And that is the animated kids version of The Chosen. And we will have that at Minno beginning October 31st. And we are so excited. It'll be season 1. And it is absolutely beautiful and absolutely so meaningful, just like The Chosen. It's just an incredible way for kids, especially if their parents are Chosen fans,
Yes.
to be able to get that same kind of just picture of Jesus and the teachings of Jesus in kid language and in beautiful animation and really, really fun storytelling with humor. Yeah, we are thrilled to partner with The Chosen to offer that at Minno.
That's awesome. So are there similar like voice actors that are connected with Chosen, or is it just a separate thing completely?
Yes, there are some similar voice actors in it
Okay.
that are part of The Chosen. Yes. And then, of course, some new ones because you have new characters. You have these really sweet kid characters and then a couple of talking animals. And but Jesus appears and the disciples. So
I'm a huge fan of The Chosen, and unfortunately, my kids have to watch it with me because I'm, seminary student. We'll be like, pause it. We have to talk about this.
we have to talk
we
through
have,
this.
we have to look it up and like, see, this really did happen. Isn't that amazing? And then we have to talk through so they're like,
I
it
love
takes
it.
hours to get through an episode with me. But I love that there's a kid version because some of the storyline is a little bit heavy. There are some places where it's harder for kids to wrap their mind around what's happening and connect with the storyline. So to have this option for families, I think this is so great.
It's going to be so great. I think I've gotten to watch through them because I review all of our content. So that's one of my roles is with our content team, I get to look at everything just to make sure, that it's the way we would want to present the Bible and God's truth to kids. There are times we say no to shows because we don't like the way they've said something or presented something. But for this, one of my favorite things about the show is just the really sweet, gentle interaction between Jesus and the children. And I really hope that's something that kids take away, even though they can't physically experience that, to know like that is how Jesus feels about children. That's how he wants to interact with you. So I think that'll be really sweet.
And I think that's something that stood out to me too, watching The Chosen and hearing the stories again, because we read them, but to experience it in a different way, it just comes alive. And just to see how loving Jesus was in every interaction, even when he was frustrated or even when he was exhausted or whatever he was going through, it just shows the humanity of what that time was like. And so that's really beautiful for that to be highlighted, that Jesus really loved people and he really loved kids.
There's something so powerful about seeing it, like for kids to read the Bible, and even, obviously storybook Bibles, that's one of the reasons why they're so powerful for kids, because you do get a visual and a kid-friendly visual. It's vibrant, it's fun. And then as kids begin to read a full text Bible, a lot of times what they're picturing are the things they've seen throughout the years. And so to give them something to visualize what they may eventually read in a full text Bible is a really helpful way for that to take root in their hearts, because that's just a really powerful way for them to learn.
Absolutely. I was sharing with my kids the other day, I was in a Passion of the Christ type of play for a few years, out of college and in my 20s. And I think I did it 8 years. And so I wasn't always a character. Sometimes I was just a person in the marketplace. But now when I read those passages about the story of Jesus and riding a donkey and going through, I feel like I was there.
Picture that.
I feel connected to it in such a different way. So when we experience the Bible in different ways like this, it really does. It embeds it in our heart and in our mind. So I love that you guys are producing this stuff.
I love that. That reminds me, one of the other big shows we have is the Dead Sea Squirrels. Are you familiar with that one?
Yes.
Okay,
we had Mike Naraki on the show last year. Yeah, he's great.
Yeah. Oh, he's fantastic. That's another one because it makes me think of that, where you're actually seeing that, the kids in the show are going over to Israel and kind of walking where Jesus walked and then experiencing this part of the Bible story. And it really helps connect the dots for kids. And that's one of my favorites, that show.
And it's so funny too. Those books are great. My kids love them. So that's awesome. Well, Jess, this is so good. I'm so excited about all the amazing things that you have for Minno. I think kids are really going to love the shows. I think parents are going to love having this content that is safe and clean and also encouraging and teaching them something new. So this is so good that you guys are doing this. Where can our listeners learn more about Minno and sign up?
So Minno is spelled Minno. It's actually an Anglican spelling for the Greek word meno, which means to abide. And that's really our mission, is to help kids and families abide in Jesus. And so our website is GoMinno, GoMinno.com. And there you can browse our shows. You can sign up for a free trial. We do like a 7-day free trial before you subscribe. If you don't want to do that yet, we are on YouTube. If you just look up Minno Bible Stories on YouTube, we have over 1 million subscribers. We have been putting all of our Laugh and Grow Bible episodes there because we want them to be accessible to kids all over the world. We've had millions and millions, like 100 million kids all over the world watching the Laugh and Grow Bible because of that. And so if you want to try it out, you can kind of see some of the shows there. And then obviously you'll have the ads, but if you love it and you want to go ad free, that's when you can kind of go over to Minno and do a subscription. But at least you'll get a feel for what the content is there and see if it's a good fit for your family. So definitely YouTube, definitely GoMinno.com. We're on all socials too. Instagram is where you'll find a lot of, like, you'll get previews of shows coming out or dates of when they're going to drop and other things like that. If you go to GoMinno, we have the store there, and that's where all of our books are, and you can check out those resources as well.
That's great. Thank you so much for sharing that. I hope our listeners will check this out, especially if you have kids in that 2 to 8 age range.
Yes.
This is a great time to find those good shows that you don't have to worry about. Well, Jess, thank you so much for being on the show today. Before I let you go, I always ask my guests to tell me a memory from when they were a kid. So what do you want to share with us today?
Well, since it is October, and we're thinking about Halloween, which we were not always allowed to celebrate as a kid. We kind of went back and forth on that thing.
We
I know
did too.
people have different points of view on that. But one year we did have the Harvest Festival at church where you were supposed to dress up as a Bible character.
Bible character, yes.
And this is really embarrassing because I don't know what was going on in my 7-year-old mind at the time. But I was 100% sure I wanted to be Delilah. Of all the women in the Bible, Delilah. And I think because going back to visuals and kids seeing things, I must have seen a picture of her in a storybook Bible once, and she probably looked all pretty.
Yeah.
And so she was the one I wanted to be. My mom did not let me be Delilah. I don't remember who I was instead, but there you go.
And here's the thing too. I was also Bible character for many years. One of the things I would dress up as was just generic Bible woman, because you just have the thing over.
Yeah,
so you could be whoever you wanted. And so I remembered I always wanted to be different. So if anyone said a character, I was just like, I'm Abigail, or I'm an obscure Bible woman that you don't think of.
Never Delilah. You were never Delilah.
I don't think I was Delilah. I do remember there was a guy who was Samson, and he had long hair, and he had little paper scissors tied around his.
That's funny. See, I think that's fine, to be Samson, but to be Delilah is a little,
Yes. We die laughing every time we watch old home videos because my brother was a squirrel for years. And so he's like squirrel on the ark. That was one of the things he was. Good old Bible costumes. So nothing's better. Well, thank you so much for being on the show today. This was great.
Oh, thanks for having me. So good to be with you, Christen.
Oh, yes. So many great memories from the Harvest Festival events our churches did. Did your church do this? Did you ever dress up like a Bible character? Or maybe you might do that this year. I don't know. That would be fun. Okay. Aren't you so excited about all the amazing things that Minno is coming out with? I'm so impressed. Jess talked about how she is so passionate about kids growing up to have a relationship with Jesus and that their faith will last. And this is such a good resource for families to have and such fun content and shows to watch. Minno is all about creating shows and resources that kids love to watch and that they will learn more about God's word. So they're focused on making sure kids have all the same excellent, age-appropriate educational content with that faith lens that's so important, like Young David and the dual language show like Guillermo and Will, and the new Chosen for Kids. Isn't that exciting that we have all these options? And I loved learning that the name Minno is actually the Greek word for abide, abiding in Christ. That's such a big theme in the Bible. And that's exactly what they're doing, is helping families to abide in their relationship with Christ by staying in the Word of God and hiding it in their heart. I love that so much. If you'd like to learn more about Minno and all of their amazing shows, head over to their website, gominno.com, and you can start your free trial and start watching today. All right, now it's time for one of my favorite parts of the show. It's our family discussion segment. So this is where we're going to ask a few questions to help you and your family keep the conversation going. You can pause between each one, or you can listen to all of them and choose the one you like to talk about best, or you could just wait and talk about them later at dinner tonight, whatever you want to do. So let's talk about it. Here's the first one. Why do you think it's important for the shows, books, and music we listen to as a family to help us grow in our faith? Okay, here's another one. What's one Bible story or character you've learned more about because of a show or video you watched? And number 3, thinking about those fall festivals, if you could dress up as a Bible character, who would you be and why? That might encourage some new costume ideas for this weekend. Well, I hope those questions spark some great ideas and conversations with your family. Hey, if you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to connect with us on social media at Collide Kids Pod on Instagram and Facebook. And don't forget to share this episode with friends and family who could use some encouragement or something fun to listen to. You can also head over to our website, collidekidspodcast.com, to catch up on past episodes or sign up for our monthly newsletter so you don't miss any updates, and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can watch the full interview from today's show. You know, one of the best ways you can support the podcast is by leaving a quick rating and a review on your favorite podcast app. It really does help other people find out about the show. Also on the website, you'll see links if you'd like to shop through our Amazon or support the podcast financially through our link that says Buy Me a Coffee. It's a great way for you to contribute. And as always, I am so grateful for your prayers over this ministry. That is a huge support as well. Well, I hope you guys have an amazing week. I hope you don't eat too much candy, but I hope you get a few fun treats. And in case no one has told you today, I would love to be the first to remind you that God loves you so much. Thanks for listening.
Looking for help and hope can be a chore, and you don't need any more of those. So consider downloading the River mobile app. It's a radio station committed to playing songs that will lift you up and help you out no matter what you're going through. Songs from artists like Lauren Daigle, Zach Williams, and Toby Mac. It's totally free with no subscriptions. Just search 1049 The River in your app store or listen online at riverradio.com.